In this module, you will learn about domestic sewage and industrial effluents that cause water pollution. Did you know that less than 1% of the fresh water on Earth can be directly used for human consumption? Rapid urbanization and industrialization has brought into focus the consequences of environmental pollution. The problem is enhanced by the fact that most water bodies have become contaminated with a variety of pollutants. Pollutants flowing into water bodies are broadly classified as domestic sewage and industrial effluents. The term domestic sewage refers to wastewater that drains from houses in a town or city. This domestic sewage contains about 99.9% water and 0.1% impurities such as suspended soils, colloidal and dissolved materials. Sadly, this small percentage of impurities makes water unfit for human consumption. Every town or city has sewage treatment plants for the removal of these pollutants before they are released into rivers or the sea. The removal of solids is relatively easy compared to dissolved salts such as nitrates and phosphates, and toxic metals such as lead and mercury, and organic compounds such as dyes and pesticides. Apart from these pollutants, microorganisms also form a primary component of the sewage. These microorganisms decompose and treat the organic sewage matter by using it as a substrate to multiply. However, during this process of decomposition, microorganisms require a lot of oxygen, which is measured in terms of biochemical oxygen demand or BOD. The concentration of BOD in the sewage water discharged into the water is high. A high concentration of BOD automatically translates into low amounts of dissolved oxygen or DO as depicted in this graph. High BOD and low DO ultimately cause the death of fish and other aquatic creatures. Another reason for the mortality of aquatic fauna is algal bloom formed due to large amounts of nutrients such as ammonia, nitrates, nitrites, and phosphates in water. These algal blooms impart a distinct color and odor to the water bodies. Moreover, they deplete all the dissolved oxygen vital for aquatic life. Besides these floating algal blooms, you also see plants such as water cabbage and water hyacinth floating on water bodies. Decades ago, these plants were introduced in water for their beautiful shape and flowers. However, they have now become troublesome aquatic weeds that are spreading rapidly and causing an imbalance in the ecosystem dynamics of water bodies. In fact, water hyacinth is called the terror of Bengal and is considered the world's most problematic aquatic weed. Another effect of sewage is eutrophication of water bodies, which is nothing but the aging of a lake by biological enrichment of its water. Usually, eutrophication of a lake is a natural process that may take thousands of years depending on climate and the size of the lake. In fact, eutrophicated water bodies have a rich supply of nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus, which favors the growth of aquatic organisms. However, sewage leads to excessive eutrophication, causing plankton blooms, which kill aquatic fauna. In addition to sewage, human activities such as agricultural runoff accelerate the aging process of lakes. This phenomenon is called cultural or accelerated eutrophication. Sewage wastes may also contain pathogenic protozoa, bacteria, and viruses that are discharged from hospitals and houses into the water, which may cause the outbreak of serious diseases such as dysentery, typhoid, jaundice, and cholera. Apart from domestic sewage, industrial effluents also pollute water bodies. Industries such as paper manufacturing, petroleum, sugar, and textile mills release tons of wastewater that contain toxic metals such as lead, mercury, and copper, along with detergents, alcohol, and acids into water bodies. These pollutants are highly toxic to aquatic fauna and other animals, including human beings. An example of water toxicity and its effects can be seen in Japan. In the 1950s, several people fell ill and even died due to the consumption of mercury-contaminated fish. This toxic methyl mercury was released into the water by industries, which caused the Minamata disease that caused numbness of limbs, lips, blurring of vision, and mental disorders. Toxic substances such as mercury, cyanide, and DDT are not biodegradable and get incorporated into the food chain, causing biomagnification of the toxicant. Biomagnification is an increase in the concentration of a toxicant at successive trophic levels. For example, biomagnification of DDT in an aquatic food chain including zooplankton, small fish, large fish, and fish-eating birds is as shown in the diagram. High concentration of DDT disturbs calcium metabolism in birds, which causes thinning of eggshells and their premature breaking. This eventually results in a decline in bird population. Apart from releasing toxic pollutants, industries such as thermal power plants also release heated or thermal wastewater into water bodies. This wastewater has various adverse effects on aquatic life. It can kill or reduce the number of organisms sensitive to high temperatures and can also damage indigenous flora and fauna. Apart from thermal wastes, oil spills too can contaminate water bodies and, in the process, kill aquatic life. The decomposition of these dead organisms further depletes the water's dissolved oxygen, choking the water body to death. We human beings have been polluting water in various ways, and without stringent measures, it will be difficult to protect it. You have now reached the end of this module. In this module, you learnt that Pollutants entering water bodies are broadly classified as domestic sewage and industrial effluents. Domestic sewage is the wastewater that drains from houses in a town or city. Domestic sewage contains about 99.9% water and 0.1% impurities such as suspended soils, colloidal and dissolved materials. Algal blooms, pathogens, thermal wastewater, and excessive nutrients pollute water. Industrial effluents such as toxic metals, detergents, alcohol, and acids pollute water bodies. Toxic non-biodegradable substances get incorporated into the food chain, causing biomagnification of the toxicant. Biomagnification is an increase in the concentration of a toxicant at successive trophic levels.